Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Vibe with 5 is sponsored by LiveScore and their free-to-play football predictions game, LiveScore 6. This week, LiveScore are offering you a chance to win £250,000. All you need to do is predict the scores of 6 selected matches and the cash could be yours.
Wow. Right, so last week the Vibe with 5 team performed ever so poorly. It was him, not me, just so you know at home, right? And it wasn't good enough, guys. But Joel, if you actually listen to me, this time we could win massive for our charity. Yeah? So, listen. Anyway, download the LiveScore app and sign up to LiveScore 6. Predict the 6 scores, compete against your mates, and potentially win big.
Only in the UK and Ireland. You have to be over 18 to enter. Full T's and C's apply. Tune in at the end of the show where we will be sharing our LiveScore 6 predictions for you this week. Rio, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
Harry, you ready?
Let's get into it.
All right then. Ladies and gentlemen, Joel Beya, Rio Ferdinand, and our special guest here today in Portugal.
Yeah. Vamos,
Mr. Harry.
Vamos.
Like the sauce.
Louis.
Pinero.
Harry Pinero sauce, boy.
Come on, man.
My
Listen.
legs are getting absolutely
We're getting bit.
moved to. Yeah,
But
these flies are moving crazy.
I can't lie to you though. We're here recording Live with 5 in Portugal.
Wow.
Life is good right about
It
now. I
is
can't
very,
lie
very
to you.
good.
Do you know what I
Very,
mean?
very good.
But
We're here at the campus, by the way.
oh, what's this campus about?
Yeah, this is a sick place where you see a lot of the teams you've seen, like Paris Saint-Germain, seen like national rugby teams, different football teams, individual players do their pre-season here. Football Escapes,
Yeah.
a company that I'm involved in that does great holidays for young kids, does football tours and that. Come here and train. You got to train like a pro here.
Nice.
This is where the pros train, man.
Yeah, my
Is it?
son's in there doing 2-touch right now.
Yeah.
Getting him these bills got to get paid.
Yeah,
Yeah, he needs to
100%,
help
man.
pay that.
100%.
2.0
You know what?
in the mix.
Oh wow.
Whilst we're here,
Yes.
we got a show launching with Harry Pinero this week called Beyond the 90.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I am so excited for that one.
Honestly, it's a
How
good
was
one.
it? Like, give us the first.
Who you with?
I don't like name dropping. Paul Scholes, yeah. Paul Scholes. And that's an honourable mention. Probably one of the best interviews I've done with a player. Someone who I've looked up to.
Who directed it?
Oh, of course, the one and only Joel Beya. Tom Trabb as well. Don't forget him behind the cams. But yeah, no, honestly, it was a great experience. And I can't wait for the people to see it because you get to see Paul Scholes in a light you've never seen him before.
Wow.
And then also, I'll ask some questions that you probably really want to know about him. So yeah, look out for that.
Beyond the
Exclusively.
90. Beyond the 90.
Beyond.
It's like players after the game's finished.
Yeah.
So it could be past players, there might be some current players.
Oh, yeah, also just got a Ballon d'Or winner as well in there as well, but I won't say who. We'll just keep that one there.
You've got to put your notifications on,
yes.
subscribe, and put the bell on as well. You can't miss this one. We want your full support or Harry won't be coming back. And we
I
don't
will.
want that.
I
We
will.
don't
I'll
want
be
that.
here. Don't worry.
All right, cool. Okay, cool. So let's get to it, man. Some shady wins this weekend, boy. Let's start off with Manchester United struggling to beat Nottingham Forest 3-2. Ooh, 2-0 down very, very quickly. It looked like you were down and out. Showed a little bit of a United fight. But the comments are saying in our press conference videos that Eric Ten Hag is not taking the team forward. Rio, let's start off with you, mate.
I just think there's too much panic, man. Not only at Man United, I think your club, hysteria surrounding your club as well is a madness, which is usual. We're not surprised about it. But Man United, I think it's just getting a bit too hysterical at the minute. We're 3 games in, man. Do you mean no trophies are handing out after 3 games? No player can put their best foot forward and say, this is the best of me in 3 games. So you have to be patient. Yes, I, for one as well, like probably most of the fan base was like, whoa, I expected more, I expected better, I expected more consistency, I expected a style of play that I was used to seeing. And it hasn't been so far, but it's nothing to go crazy about. If we're 15 games in, then I start panicking. But I think at this stage, I think yes, you can look at individuals and the way the team has performed and say that they could do better. But I think sometimes you have to look at what the positives are. Yes, we haven't started. There's no form.
What's the positive? That you scraped the win?
The positive was the reaction.
Yeah.
To go 2-0 down in any game at home, I've played in games at Old Trafford where a team we're meant to be beaten has gone out and has gone a goal or 2 up against us, and then we've managed to bring it back, and everyone's going crazy. Yes, I know it's different times, but that's where you have to draw your inspiration from, and where you've got to try and find some consistency, some form from. And I think the biggest gainer out of all of this will be Bruno Fernandes, because I swear to you, the flack that he was getting over the last week, I've been sitting there with my mouth wide open thinking, how dare these people talk like that? He's been the most creative player in the league last season. He's the most creative player again at this point of the season so far. The first player to hit 10 goal opportunities created for his teammates out of anybody. But people are going, oh, he's this, he's it. The guy's, since he's come to the club, he's outperformed every single player at the football club in terms of goals created, chances, goals and assists. He has. But you don't get a blind for 3 games. It don't make sense.
All I'm saying is, I do, let me start off by saying, I do think he's a good player.
Good.
Just good. That sounds a bit basic.
He's not bad. I don't want to bring it. I don't want to bring it. He didn't let me finish.
You was going to say something about Arsenal player. He's not better than who? Odegaard.
Yeah. He's not better than Odegaard. But we're gonna put that. We're parking that.
Do you rate Kevin De Bruyne by any chance?
I do.
All right. So
just because of the interview you did the other day.
Okay. So if he had said Odegaard, you probably would have been sitting there. Even if Kevin De Bruyne said it, bro. With Bruno, yeah. I think
just before you finish that, yeah.
Yeah.
You like Kevin De Bruyne. We all like Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Bruno created more chances last season than him, than anyone in the league.
But there's a reason why certain people call him Bruno Volume Fernandes. Is because he'll just try, spin, see what hits, see what sticks, and that's it. That's my criticism. Sometimes he just wastes the ball.
My argument to that is though,
Kevin De Bruyne interview.
Yeah. My argument is with Kevin De Bruyne is, with Bruno is that the way he plays, he's always played that way. He is someone who is going to take risks. And most of the risks that he takes usually pull off. Now,
I've got to take my glasses.
I'm going to take it off as well.
Risks or wasting opportunity?
No, let me finish, Joel.
Let's be clear, please.
Okay, cool. A lot of the chances that he creates, Man United's massive problem is our finishing. We don't have a clinical striker. We don't have, it always seems as if we don't know what we're doing in the last part of the pitch, but you can never fault Bruno's creativity. Without him in our team, we don't create chances. You can't, because he tries every single time. In that game, without Bruno, we don't win that.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
And that's why he's the captain. Like, we had a conversation with Jeff and Cams, and Cams was like,
Jeff Shreves, by the way.
No, but I call him Jeff because he's my brethren now.
Okay, cool.
And what he said was, you see with Bruno, like, he's definitely got some attitude problems sometimes because, his hands might be flaring in the air, but that's just because he wants to win so much. He wants to, you didn't see it. You didn't see it against Forest. He was composed, and I think he's learnt from. He's learning. He's learning. Liverpool one. When he was sulking. When we lost to Spurs,
But this is the issue, guys. Oh, if Bruno Fernandes is not winning. This is Nottingham Forest, guys. No. You should be relying. No. Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Forest also scored against you as well.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't turn around and go, oh yeah, if Bruno Fernandes is not there, come on, guys, man. No, but the funny thing is, we were always in control. That's the difference.
You wasn't in for the last 15 minutes of the game.
That was the last bit. We weren't for the first 15.
For the first 4 minutes, we weren't in control.
Besides that, we were brilliant, Rio.
For the first 4 minutes, we weren't in control. For the rest of the game, we were. What's that?
I don't know about that, man.
No, there's a lot of, but I agree with you though, Rio. I think with Bruno, a lot of players probably don't like the style of play the way he plays. Maybe
wasting chances.
It's not wasting, it's trying. He's trying something. Who is our creative player in Man United that gets the ball and tries to find the pass? Like,
I would say,
who does that?
Harry, if he was one of those guys that kept trying, but hitting Rose End and hitting a man or hitting a lady in the stands, with his passes, right? I would sit there and say people have an argument.
Yeah.
But let me just read you something, right?
Go on, then.
Since the start of last season, Bruno Fernandes ranks top, not second or third, topper in the Premier League for shot creating actions. 233. Listen.
No, Harry,
key passes, 127. Through balls, 37. Big chances created, 34. Chances created in a single game, 9. Since making his debut in the Premier League from 2020, no player has both scored and assisted in more different games in the competition than Bruno Fernandes. Like, if he was trying, and not creating it and not hitting bullseye with it every time, I would say you got an argument. But the brother is topping all the critical charts.
He's a good player, but he's well overrated, mate. Honestly.
What would you say? In what sense?
I'm saying, if you look at some of these stats, this is what I don't like. Some of these stats can be so misleading. Read them out.
Shot creating actions. What's so misleading about that? He's put a
shot. Explain that to me, please.
So he's put a man in on goal.
Yeah.
And the man's messed up the shot.
Yeah.
He ain't back.
Ozil, if Ozil was still playing right now, it would be the same thing. He'd be number one because we saw how much chances that Ozil potentially could have created for his team, but Giroud didn't finish, or whoever was up front. I think
Giroud had a good record, by the way. Though.
Wasn't the greatest, but Bruno, But Bruno, for me, I just think he's an integral part of why Man United were able to come back into that game.
Man United don't win it.
We do not.
And
win
I agree.
That game.
I'm not saying you.
So
do
for me,
I'm just saying you play Nottingham Forest though.
Because Odegaard looks
what's in front of you.
Odegaard, for me, for example, because I know what you was going to say about Odegaard. Odegaard, when I watch him play, I think what a beautiful way he plays the game. Yeah, but some games he's ineffective. previous game that you
And you're telling me Bruno's always effective?
I didn't say that. Okay. I said though, yeah, with the way he plays, sometimes it doesn't come off. And those games, yes, you got to raise your hand and say, yeah, Bruno had a poor game today. But how many of those games does he have in comparison to when he first started? It's very different. When he first started, Bruno was our top goal scorer, top assist. Yeah. It dipped because Man United was going under reconstruction. We had a new manager, so the whole team was playing bad. But since last season, I've seen a better Bruno. He's more decisive with his passing. The reason why he's the captain is because he's a leader, not just on the pitch, but literally he tells players what he needs to do. You always see Bruno trying to make sure that players do well.
Sometimes I think it's for the cameras. I'm just saying, sometimes I think it's a camera team.
He was doing it during COVID as well. There was no fans.
Yeah, but there were cameras though. Everyone was watching at home though.
Yeah, I mean, some people
Everyone was watching at home though.
But yeah, I think Man United, for me, yes, the performance wasn't the greatest in the first 15, 20 minutes, but we showed character and we actually controlled the game until the end.
Before you go in, let me read out some of the key moments.
Wait,
and then
you say something more about Bruno? Just one more point here. Players like Bruno Fernandes are going to stand out more than any other player on the pitch for one reason, because they take risks. So for when he takes a risk and it goes well, they're going to stand out more than everyone else. And they're going to stand out more than everyone else when it doesn't go well. That's why when it doesn't go well, there's a big hurrah about it, because he's the one with the big ball, the big cojones that goes out there. Do you know how scared some players are to take risks and
they play safe, side to side.
Yeah.
Start hiding.
Do you know the character
1-2s.
Have
you got any examples of that?
Of players that play safe.
Even people that you've seen opposite. It doesn't have to be in your own team, whatever you want to say, but we need some examples, man.
I just think all big players.
Don't hide now, Rio.
No. Because there's some players that don't play the elaborate balls out because it's not their game.
Give us instances,
I'm trying to think of players who were that player who were the risk takers.
Did you ever see Scholesy hide for a little period?
Never. I've never seen Scholes.
And even when Scholes was doing two-touch, it was to open up a chance to create another pass, bro.
It wasn't because he was hiding.
Never. I don't think Scholes.
I'm not saying he was, by the way.
You can't spot him from a mile away.
But that's the key. When it doesn't, that's such a big trait that is you can't gauge on stats and graphs and tables. Is that there's moments when, for instance, for the last week, Bruno's been drilled, goes out and takes risks and takes chances, and is the most creative player in the team on the weekend. That's character.
It's not the only one.
That's what you need.
It's not the only one. Casemiro was being targeted as well. Scores a goal, played really well. Did miss a
Saka and Lissandro for me were, they were incredible.
Incredible. Let me just read. So Forest score 2 goals in 5 minutes. Rashford loses the ball to the build-up for the first goal, and Nana misjudges the save. Now, look, we've been talking about goalkeepers. I don't want to go too hard on Nana this week because I know that Aaron had a clanger of his own, right? But when you were talking about mistakes with goalkeepers, that's not the type of mistake that I thought Nana would find himself in. What happened there?
I think his footwork was the thing that let him down. I think he was moving backwards, if I remember rightly, his footwork, and he almost ended up laying down. So I think he would be disappointed with that. But also it's a 1v1. They're difficult to navigate those situations. What you want a goalkeeper there to do is to tell the striker what to do. Really, he made the decision for the goalkeeper for the forward by falling over. So I don't think he'll be pleased with that.
Antony, he's another one
he's getting
hammered, bruv.
My view of Antony is, we can obviously see that there's a lot of talent. I use this word a lot in him, like in terms of his skill. We've seen flashes of him. He can score good goals. But me, as a player, as someone who is playing for Man United, you've been signed for big money, and you're a,
is it 90 mil?
Left-footed, and you play on the right wing. That I see Saka playing in that position and seeing how effective he can be in there. When you get the ball, you turn, like as soon as you get the ball, you're turning straight to face. You've got so many options. Either you use your fullback, or you try to beat your player, or you go in for a 1-2, so you can actually try and, fling the ball around. I don't see enough of that from Antony, and I think the criticism is warranted because we expect more from you. It's not even about the money. It's the fact of the amount of times you get the ball and you don't create anything. And I think on that side, Saka played really, really well because the overlapping runs, he was even more further forward and looked more, like a threat. I will say he did get better into the game, but if we're playing against better teams, we don't have that luxury. If we're 2-0 down to City, to Liverpool, to Arsenal, it's very difficult for us to get back, and we need players like him to hit the ground running. It's your second season now as well.
He's not dynamic enough for me. I haven't seen him beat a man yet. You know that.
I feel like with him, there's a lot of pressure. Game by game, it's going to get worse by worse if he doesn't stop, putting in effort, bro. Try and go old school wingers. I remember it wasn't about the skill. It was about using your pace, getting to the byline and try and put a ball in. So if you can't do the basics of that, then I think there's an issue to be had.
What Harry's saying there as well, he's a diehard Man United fan. He's watched wingers over the years that get the ball, and your role at Man United as a winger was one thing, to create chances. That's either as a Bex, getting it, opening up and finding someone with your range of passing, or you get your head down, beat someone, and bang, put it in the box.
I think Pep's changed that though, Rio. Because if you look, Raheem Sterling, he's, you know what I mean? Like, I know he played there for Liverpool as well, but he's playing on the other side. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking about Pep. I'm talking about what Man United desire, what Man United fans are used to seeing. So there comes the frustration because they're not seeing what they're used to seeing.
Got you.
So if Man United then played the way that Pep's team plays, I would be understanding it. But he's getting the ball. The difference, he's getting the ball 1v1 so many times in the game that you're sitting there as a fan going, beat him, man, beat him. And he done it once at the weekend, went on his right foot on the outside and crossed it, almost created a chance. I'm thinking, so you can do it.
First time I've seen him do that.
I want to see it more. And like you said, the power. I don't think he's got the power in his body at the moment. So I'd like to think he'd be working on his power, his explosiveness, etc. Because I think if he could add that to his game as well, then you're going to see a little improvement again. But I just want output, man. I want chances created. I want a fullback coming off the pitch. It's like what we said about. I forget who it was we were talking about, that you want him to have the fullback coming off the pitch hurting. I don't know.
Talking about Rashford.
To go on another level. I think with Antony, as a winger, your job is to have the other fullback. It's me against you. I'm going to get you in all sorts of problems. Lactic acid flying everywhere.
Ola Aina had him in his pocket, man. Like Ola for me, even when he played against Bukayo Saka, I think the first 3-4 minutes was a bit techie, but after that he understood the assignment. And I think a lot of defenders, fullbacks, are going to understand that with Antony. You just need to be a bit more aggressive with him, and then you kind of won. I want him to be in the gym. I need you to be stronger. Like Bukayo Saka, another example, because I think he's if not one of the best right wingers in the world at the moment. Yeah. He's so strong and he knows how to use his body. So that allows the defender to kind of be behind you. Then you can actually, it's so much that we can.
It makes the defender think, I can't get too close. Yeah. Because if I get too close, he's strong enough to roll me. He's strong enough to hold the challenge and still retain the ball. But with Antony, I feel fullbacks are thinking I could bully him if I get there.
But credit I give to him, he did get better in the game. But we need to see that from kickoff.
Randomly, I think we can get Ola Aina to do a masterclass for us, a fullback masterclass for sure. Like, he watches the channel, really good guy.
That's what I agree with him.
Is it? He came up through the Chelsea Academy, innit? So I think we can get him to do that. But
he's got all the tools.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
Rashford.
Yeah.
Much more of a decent game, right?
Can I be honest?
Go on.
I don't think it was.
Well, you reckon it was just those opportunities
I think
the penalty,
what I saw
the assist?
is where my season ticket seats are.
Is it?
Just by the touchline. I was able to see Rashford make so many runs, and I saw this last season. He doesn't receive the ball. So sometimes, like you look at him and you think when the camera's put on him, you think his attitude stinks or whatever. It's not even that. It's the frustration of not being able to receive the ball. Like Lisandro Martinez, credit to him. He was the one that was keeping the ball occupied, and he was just controlling the game for us back there. And there's so many times when he had the ball, I saw Rashford making the run. I think with Rashford, what we saw is when he's on the left-hand side, he's the most dangerous because he's got the fullback on toast kind of, and he can afford to go in his left foot. And like how he put the ball in for Eriksen to score the equaliser, he can do that. He can also shift it to his right. He just needs, I think for me, a number 9. Give him freedom to at least be able to create more, because Rashford's another player that gets the ball a lot, and we expect him. Sometimes I do feel like he does fumble on the ball a bit, but that will come in time with the season, innit? But he done well, got a penalty for us, and also created a great assist for Eriksen. So there's signs that he's warming up, innit? But we need to just be giving the ball to him in between those lines. Rashford's pace is frightening. One-on-one, it's difficult to catch him.
The big thing for him, I think he's going to be one of the biggest benefactors when we get number 9, because if I look at it as opposing centre back, if the opposing fullback against Rashford, he'll be saying to his centre half, you need to come out there with me. As soon as Rashford gets it, come out there so he can create a 2v1 at times. Get as close as you can. Just be aware. Get out there, because there's no number 9 in there that they're scared of.
Yeah, it's
if
true.
we've got a number 9 that's scared of, the two centre halves are saying to each other, listen, we stay around each other, we cover each other. The fullback's got to deal 1v1. At the moment, they've been able to get people over to Rashford because there's no one else who's actually putting down big numbers, who's a threat. So this number 9, I think Højlund, give him a week or so. He's back, so fingers crossed.
Hopefully he doesn't come back for the Arsenal game. I'm hearing he's not, by the way. You will catch me
Well,
in
I
Harry,
got some
yeah?
information, but I don't want to.
Ah, mate, you don't
I
want
can't really say too much,
you
you
don't
know,
want to snitch.
confidentiality and all that.
DMs and that,
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Is it all your phone numbers now? What?
I don't want to go too
Yeah.
soon, you know. I just thought,
DMs only
yeah,
then,
let's just
yeah?
keep it Insta. Let's keep it Insta.
Match reaction. So, Ten Hag, he said it was a horror start, giving them 2 goals, but he's very pleased with the comeback, the leadership, and how composed and how the team stuck to the plans and their beliefs. So overall, he's happy. It's what he's got to say, isn't it? Really.
Of course.
Yeah.
He'll be just so disappointed with the way that they started. And to be fair though, I've got to be honest with you, not Forest got through us a little bit like Wolves, far too easy at times. So they got to work out that transition, being able to stop transitions. When teams have got pace in their transitions, we seem to be a little bit too much open for my liking. So that's something I'm sure on the training ground they'll be working at, because someone's going to punish us soon.
Yeah. Luckily for us, we faced 3 teams that we expected to get, 9 points from those 3 games. And for me, the Spurs game, the Spurs game, I think the first, 15, 20 minutes, we started off really well. And then our heads went. So I think for us, it's just about staying in the game from early and making sure that we score first. So the pressure's off us. I think with United, the way we play right now, we're inviting so much pressure with the way we concede. Midfield is still a massive hole in there. I still think Casemiro is still exposed and he needs cover. As much as he's a great defensive midfield player, when I watch Ten Hag's interviews, he doesn't say he's box to box. He says he is.
He blamed it on the defenders and the strikers.
Because when you think of Casemiro, bro, I can't lie. I don't want to say he's a luxury player to have, Casemiro. But his job is to disrupt play and give it to players that know how to pass the ball. That was his role at Real Madrid, and I don't think it should change at United, especially as he's getting older. I think with Ten Hag's job right now is to how do we make this midfield work? Because Casemiro ain't going nowhere, neither is Bruno.
Well, I'll tell you how. You don't spend £55 million on Mason Mount, mate.
Or
why not?
Yeah, why?
Because I don't think that's the signing you needed. I think
we haven't used Mount the way that in his best position for that to be a thing. I think it's free.
What's his best position?
Personally, how I've seen Mount play for Chelsea, when I think he's been the most progressive, is when he's kind of like nearest to the winger, because he can receive the ball and drop and finds players. I've seen when he's scored his goals and assists for Chelsea that season.
What is that, like number 8 type?
Like a number 8. I don't think he's not a 6 for me. I don't think he should be defensively. That should be his position. I think he's better.
He shouldn't be asked to do that.
No, because it's taken away from where he's best suited at. He's not. We've never known Mason Mount to be a defensive player. We've known him to create chances. He's been great from set ball pieces and also run. He's a great runner. So,
but this is what I'm saying. I don't see that being a good. Oh yeah, let's splash the money on him, make him the number 1.
It's not his fault. He's worth 55.
No, it's not. Bro. It's not just that. I just don't think he's the player that you needed. Now, I'm not watching enough of United for me to go, oh, if it's not Eriksen, it should have been this player, that player. But I just know when his name came up, I was thinking that's not the guy. You know what I mean? And obviously, window's about to close this week. We will be talking to David Ornstein and stuff like that. We'll see if you guys are bringing in Amrabat and other players.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Really?
Yeah. I saw some stuff today.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, being United fan.
But I do think you do have to give a massive shout out to players like Awoniyi from Nottingham Forest.
Baller.
Come on, man. The guy's been, you know what I mean?
What he could do against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then after he came to United and kind of did the same thing.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Was it first?
Gibbs-White as well, by the way.
Yeah.
He was
Top
really good.
player. But back to him. First ever Nottingham Forest player to score in 7 consecutive Premier League games. 3 goals in 3 games. Efficient and clinical.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gibbs-White still providing on the offensive as well. 2 assists. Rio, Gibbs-White, at Forest is what Jesse Lingard should have been when he came in.
That's a big shout. Jesse must be sitting there thinking that should be me.
Yeah.
If his head's on it, he'll be going, that should have been me. Listen, I know most eyebrows, if not all eyebrows, were raised at 43 or whatever it was £1 million. To Forest from Wolves as a player who wasn't even getting in their team.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, so they're buying big potential. And he has, in the running last season, was one of the integral members who put them up. And he started to see, went to Euros, done what he done there, they won that, and then he's come and started the season, you're thinking, boy, this guy in a team that doesn't really have much of the ball, he's effective, man.
Yeah.
He's doing so much, man, on and off the ball, by the way.
Yeah.
And the assist that he got, but I just think his impact all round has been.
He's a big dog.
As an English kid as well, I love it. I love to see that, and so I didn't think about Jesse like that.
I saw something when I went to the Wolves game. Yeah, I've never seen so much Qatari nationals. On that train.
Is it?
something's brewing.
Is it?
Something is brewing. I think so anyway. But I think, look,
You're
the
not allowed
fans.
to speak on this, by the way.
You stay away from this.
Yeah.
But the fans for me.
You know when they do something, I'm the one who's going to be going. I told you.
Yeah, like the Ronaldo one, isn't it? We're gonna get exclusive. But no, I think for us as United fans, we just want the best for our club, innit? And I think with the fact that the Glazers have opted to sell is an indication that they understand that it is time for them to go. But the time that they're taking, I think, this is how I'd view it. I think it's based on the fact that the transfer window is still open, and we might potentially buy someone, and we don't want to get the fact that they know that we've got money. That Man United tax. That's the only thing that I can.
What in terms of the takeover?
No, because look, Man United have always paid more than what we should for players since Fergie's left.
The difference now is the FFP dictates. What you can spend, so people will be aware of what you can pay now. Yeah,
but it needs to happen ASAP. There's a lot of unrest in the club. I watched Newcastle's documentary the other day, and you could see the jubilation outside the stadium when Mike actually sold the club. They was happy. It was like they won the Champions League because it means a lot to these.
Look what it's done since,
I'm a London-based United fan, but whenever I go and watch the games, you can see how much it means for the club. This is a family. It's a religion to them, and to have the Glazers still running the club is hurting a lot of players. No matter what happens on the pitch, we want them out.
I don't think they've respected the fan base.
Never.
Me personally.
Never come out and said anything.
The communication is what I was like banging on about. Like, just communicate with the people, man. Just communicate and let them know what's going on with their club. That's the thing that they don't understand. It's their club. It's the fans, man. They're behind everything at the football club. Yes, the teams and the manager and that and the people behind the scenes run it, but the fans are what make these clubs what they are. And I don't think they've been appreciated, respected, or acknowledged in this whole process. Give them a little something to nibble on while this whole process is going on. Explain why it's taking so long. Like, let us know. Are you willing to sell now properly? Like, just a little bit of communication. They asked it last time when it was in lockdown. They come out of a statement, handwritten statement, no face really.
That was done on Apple Notes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done on the Notes app.
And then now this just pure silence. I just think it's just not, it's not right.
It's mad because even David Beckham, who never has an opinion about much, even he came out and said something. I thought, this is deep. Now, before we move on to Arsenal, that's not a big topic, man. We've got to move it on quickly. But I just want to say, you've got a few potentials. We already spoke about Amrabat potentially coming in. Kukurea has been linked. Your thoughts about that? Todibo as well. Rio Ferdinand as well. You guys...
It's panic buys, man. It's panic buys. It's like Malacia and Shaw are injured, so let's find a fullback just to cover. I think Dalot played really well on the weekend, but I know that he will get really exposed against players that, better teams, better players. So, we do need cover, but I just think injuries...
You tried to say he was the best right back in the league and try to put him on our team of the year.
Who?
You.
Dalot.
I said he's what? I said
you try to put him
between
on
Arsenal and
Ben White and Dalot, and you picked Dalot.
Yeah.
Come on, you're taking the mick, man.
I picked Dalot and Saka.
No, you're taking the mick. Big disrespect.
No, I don't think Ben White's a bad player. I just think those two, I picked them in my team before him.
That's a joke.
No, Ben White's become a way better player than I thought when Brighton sold him. But Saka, for me, 1v1, right back, best in the world.
Yeah, but like we spoke about last week, it's all right to say
and
1v1,
also, have you seen the way he's got an assist? He got an assist at home agaest Wolves.
But as a defender,
that goal won us the game.
As a defender, you're not looking.
Did you watch the Forest game? How well we played?
I saw you guys get.
I saw you guys not win a game. So
you watched these games.
Yeah. And you know what's killing me about Joel, guys? So I'm tweeting about the game. I'm saying this game's gonna end 4-2. Ended at 3-2, so I wasn't far off with United. This guy's talking about how many shots Antony's had. I'm like, are you watching our game or are you watching yours? Like, I feel like if you take off this shirt right now, there's a United tattoo right there. You're deep down, you love us.
Anyway, moving on to one of the biggest games of the season for Fulham. That is, Dijk. Congratulations! I got to start off by giving you a round of applause.
I've been loving your voice notes as well, by the way, to the group.
A little message from him here.
Well. Viber 5 want to talk about Fulham now, do they? Yeah, you want to talk about Fulham? I tell you what, I haven't heard from any of my Arsenal mates over the weekend. Not one, nah. Yeah, all that chat before the game. 4-5-0, we're going to put you in a spliff. Great warm-up for the Man U game. What happened? Yeah, 10 man on your own block. And you couldn't even get the win. Could have even won it at the end when Traore put the burners on. Probably should have gone down for the pen. You're lucky you went 3-2. But yeah, Declan Rice, He was rice pudding on the weekend. He got made rice pudding by João Palhinha. Because I'll say this and I'll say this again. Put some respect on my boy Palhinha's name. Yeah? Name me a better DM in the league. Sorry, what? Sorry, what? What? No one? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. If you want him, 90 million, run it. Run it, run it. Let me see if you can run it, run it. 90 million, that's what we want. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Now, we lost our main striker, our shooter. Alexander Mitrovic, gone. Willian, not even on the bench that day. Tim Ream, suspended. 10 men for what, 20, 25 minutes? You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't do nothing. You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. And you didn't do anything because it ended in a draw. You lot want to talk about winning the league. You ain't going to do it doing it like that. I'll tell you that for free. But look, we're not even cooking yet. The stove's not even on. The stove's not even on. We still got 6, 7 players to bring in. Yeah? Once we start to cook, it's not going to be nice for a lot of teams. I'm telling you this now. It's not going to be nice. You're lucky. You're lucky you caught us at a moment like that, because if it was full flow Fulham, it'd have been long for you. What was going on with their back four? What was going on? It was about as balanced as me after Carnival yesterday. I was swaying yesterday, I'll tell you that for free. But I tell you what, I'm going to run Carnival again today. I'm going to catch Arsenal fans in their shirts and I'm going to remind them what time it was. 2-2. Did it yesterday, going to do it again today. All right? Now, I'm going to leave you with this one last message, all right? Keep an eye out for Fulham this season. We're coming. Yeah, we're coming. And you better start talking about us more, all right? As for the Arsenal fans, respond to me. Come on, don't cry. All I hear is wah, wah, wah. Wah, 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 wah. Come on, be a man and respond, yeah? Be a man and respond, because you talk a lot when you win, but you don't talk a lot when you bottle. And we all know what you lot do. You bottle.
But yeah, Arsenal losing to Fulham. I mean...
Losing, you drew.
Sorry, it felt like a loss.
Wow.
It
you
did,
see what I'm saying?
It did, it felt like a loss, though.
It
really did, didn't it? Like, the way we were being cooked online, I thought, oh my gosh, it's over. Still above United. But drawing 2 with Fulham, obviously Saka and Nketiah getting on the score sheet, and Pereira, who I think is the flukiest player on the planet, getting in a goal. Ramsdale, I don't rate him at all, man. Like, I don't think he's it.
For that team, man. He's a lot of assists.
I don't know, man. I just look at him and I just
3 games in, though. 3 games in, and already we're seeing an Arsenal fan base meltdown.
Mm-hmm. Well, who's melting down?
No, come on, Joel, man.
Not everyone.
Bro, there was Martinelli comps about how whack he is. Yeah. There was a lot of... Havertz out. No, okay, can we just discuss? Let's just get straight into it, yeah? Because I'm not here for the crap. I travelled all the way from London, for this.
To Portugal.
For Portugal! Yeah. All right, so Kai Havertz, explain to me as an Arsenal fan, because you watch your team differently than I do. What is his role? What is Arteta trying to imply in that team?
It's mad hot here, bro.
No, it must be, because the pressure's hitting. What is it about that player? Why did you spend 60 M's on him?
You want to know the truth? I don't know. Like, I think that's Mikel Arteta. It's the truth. I don't know. At least I'm honest about it. You know what I mean? If you ask me...
Stinky buy?
If you ask me, he wouldn't be my first buy. Yeah. You know? Maybe not my second
or
third,
last.
You know what I mean? I was arguing with Rio yesterday, saying, I think, from what I can see, this is Joel, the pundit, saying, like, I think he's debalanced the team a little bit, man, him coming in. Because I think if he doesn't play, Odegaard stays in his same position. You've got Xhaka playing a little bit deeper. You've got Partey playing where he's supposed to be playing instead of a right back. Then you've got Ben White playing where he's supposed to be playing instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of where he is now at centre back. And then you've got Saliba playing on the left-hand side of centre back, like left-sided centre back. I don't think that's his best position. You've seen it in the last couple of games. He's looked a little bit shaky here and there. And all of that, I reckon, goes back to having Havertz in the team. Because you're now having to fit in, shoehorn a man that's 65. You ain't going to drop him. You ain't going to drop Declan Rice. We don't want to drop Declan Rice. He's doing a great job. And obviously, Jacques is out of the team. But I think he's the odd piece in there. And what he's doing, what Arteta is probably going to have to do is the same thing that Ten Hag's doing. You spent bare peas on a player, and now you just have to play him until he gets it right. Because let's be real, Antony should have been dropped a long time ago. But he has to make his man look good. And I think that's the situation that we're going to be at. I think if you look at us up top, obviously we're a little bit light, but I do reckon Eddie Nketiah has done a really good job in the last 2 games. Troops, that one's for you. And I'm not here for no Eddie Nketiah. Yeah, man, Troops does a lot of talking, man. You saw last week on the show. But for us, I still think we're playing the better football. And I think when it comes to playing United come Sunday, I'm not worried at all, man. We better start fast. That's all I'm saying. We better start fast.
You're not worried at all?
I'm not worried.
No worries at all.
At all.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not.
Arsenal-
Because I think you lot are crap.
Man.
I'll be honest with you. I think you lot are rubbish, bruv.
Yeah.
I think you lot are rubbish. I think when I look at, I know it's only 3 games in, but
Clip
I
this up,
think
Tom.
Man United, clip it up. I think Man United have gone backwards.
Yeah?
Yeah,
3 games,
I really do. I do. And I think
you think
it's telling.
you could look down in that camera and say, you think you're gonna absolutely
I
you're
think,
gonna dismantle us?
which one am I looking at?
All 3, I think. You
All
just
3?
give them, so we've got options.
I'll start with the middle one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Arsenal will batter Manchester United this season. We're not going to just beat you, we're going to batter you on Sunday.
Wow.
Like, that's how confident I am.
Okay.
Arsenal, we will batter Manchester United this coming Sunday. And you're going to be there to see it within your own eyes as well.
I want to be in that stinky, smelly stadium.
Emirates. Are you going to be,
I'm not going to be there, no.
Yeah.
I'll be watching it. But you know what? It's magic, your confidence. Like, considering I look at your fan bases all over the gaff, they're going nuts. Havertz out, the manager don't know what he's doing. He's messing about with the team too much. Partey's playing right back. Trossard coming in doing his job. Eddie Nketiah, we want him out. We want it doing the okie dokie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but your fan base is doing the same thing though.
No, I'm not. But why do you have to go to Arsenal?
Yeah,
because you're trying to throw it.
Why does he do that?
Do you know what it is? Every time I watch Joel, I could do an hour comp of every time someone says something about Arsenal, he goes, but United's this.
Yeah.
We're not in 2002 anymore.
Do the comp then.
No, I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it.
Take your season in. You've got to take it and just sit there and go, you know what?
Yeah.
Like you guys are all over the place. I just don't understand. With Havertz, I understand that he might not have hit the ground running. A bit like Mason Mount at Man United, but then you do
Similar,
the way that you guys are absolutely like, get him out.
I didn't say that.
No, but I'm talking about
Your fan base. Remember, you don't own Arsenal. There is a lot of other people.
There's more than just you.
Yeah, there's other people.
I don't get it. And like I said, if it was 10, 15 games, I'd go, you know what, I can see what they're saying. But it's 3 games,
Yeah.
People need time to adjust.
But one thing I can say, the positive about Arsenal is that when they have their moments when they're controlling the game, it does look like they can score in every opportunity. And I think it is going to take a long time. The Premier League is I don't think Man City have played incredibly well. No. I think no team, every team that we said after game 2, they're going to do well, they lost. Brighton lost, Chelsea lost. So we're still at that stage of this Premier League where every team is finding their form. I think with Havertz, the only grace I'll give him is that it's a brand new team. The season's just started, and it's a new way that Arteta's playing.
I agree.
So even for himself, it's going to be difficult for him to get his understanding of the game. But I just think with the Premier League, every game's like a final. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially with Man City, they're the only team that's I think have won every game that they've played. So it's like we're already catching up already after 3 games or 4 games, however long it's been. So it's like for me, Arsenal need to figure it out quicker because you're the only team that kind of look ready to challenge with City. And I think with Kai Havertz, when you pay 65 million, you're expecting an instant success rate with him. And it's going to take time. Declan Rice is, on the other hand, we've seen it already slotted straight in.
You spoke to Declan Rice, didn't you?
Yeah, he said he really loves Arsenal and how they're organised. That Arteta is like a psychopath, the way he looks and reads the game. So I think game by game, Arteta's going to dissect every performance, every moment of play, and hopefully it works. Because as a football fan, as much as I hate Arsenal, I love their football. I think they play incredible football, and who doesn't want to watch that? So we'll see. But you lot are very basic right now, and the fact that you think you're going to batter us, it just shows that crack cocaine is still active in Fulham Heath.
I just think Bukayo Saka has now scored 3 goals in his last 4 Premier League games. It's his 40th goal for Arsenal, right? Which means that he's actually got more goals, or he's overtaken Mark Overmars. I mean, the guys, I know it's a long time ago, football's changed, but the boy's had impact, man. Like we actually look to him when we need something. And most times he doesn't fail.
I just think he's one of those players. We were speaking about Antony making a defender think, right, this has been a tough game today. I've had a tough afternoon. I don't think there are many fullbacks that go off the pitch against Saka that go, easy day's work.
Yeah.
He gives hard days work out week after week, and he's been doing it now for 2 years solid. I think he's a tremendous footballer, but you can still see there's an appetite to learn and bring more to the table. And I think that he's only going to get better. And I said the other day, he's got to be in the top 5 now, right wingers in the world.
Is he world class? Would you say he's world class?
Look, I'm going to say
Champions League football still
I think he is. I think there's no way that kid goes on from where he is now and it stops. I think his mentality, the way he loves the game, he actually looks like he's having fun when he's playing the game.
What is world class?
We've said this many times. Yeah.
This is a separate video.
Yeah.
We want to hear. I want to hear your
for me,
definition and yours.
If someone said to me right now, Saka's world class, I wouldn't go crazy and argue with them. I can just say, based off the players that I've seen, it comes down to the temperament, how much you want the game. You're like, I've spoken to Saka many times. He's a God-fearing kid. He really loves the game.
That don't make you world class.
No, but it's mentality. A lot of players that we see, for example, we've seen like Ben Arthur. We've seen these players have the talent to be one of the best players and the world-class players, but it's a mentality thing. I think at Arsenal, he knows his role in that club. He knows that he's one of the most important players.
I've got to disagree with you there.
All right, fair plays.
You're saying what? Because
I'm not saying that's not what world class is. I can explain what world class
mentality.
Is. It is though.
I need some clarity.
It is mentality.
I need clarity because I know players that probably shouldn't have gone as far as they've gone.
Ask Rio, yeah? Ronaldo, when Ronaldo first came to United, did you look at him and think, oh my God, he's going to win 5 Ballon d'Ors straight away?
No, I thought he's got a chance. This kid could be the best player in the world someday.
Exactly.
But has to work hard.
And that's my point. I think with Saka, he's already showing the traits of someone who's world class. You just said he's broken the record for the most consecutive.
Are you saying his mentality is what?
His talent as well, though. I think it's a package with Saka. I don't think it's just one thing you say that's great about Saka.
Mentality alone won't get you there.
Yeah,
okay, that's what I heard.
His mentality, his talent, his effectiveness on the pitch. I don't think I've seen Saka play over the last 2 years and think, apart from the last tail end of the last season, where I think, yeah, he's a bit off it today. Like, he always looks like he's trying. Like, yeah. Like, for me, so I just think when you talk about world class, I think it's your talent, it's what you deliver, big games. I think it's trophies, you look at that. Man management in games. Are you going to be the decisive game changer in a game? I think when you have all of those things, that's world class.
I think he's got everything to be a world class player. I think the only thing that's not on the table now that you go, that solidifies it, that cements it, is the Champions League performances and goals and definitive moments in those big games. So because his team hasn't allowed him because they've not been in the Champions League, so they're there now. So he's got a chance. No shots fired, just facts. And he's got a chance now.
I think
the Champions League. If he goes in the Champions League this year, he's already done the Premier League. He's already shown in the Premier League that he can roast man regular.
And for England.
Yeah, and for England. But then you go Champions League, and he does it there again. There ain't no question. There's nothing that can throw at him.
Agreed. It's funny because we've actually got Zinchenko on the channel this week as well. We've been putting in some work, man. And
then Harry Pinero on the channel.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's just
working hard, man. You know what I mean?
Nothing about working hard.
It's the truth. It's the truth. So we're a world-class channel, guys.
The Arsenal forward line, like obviously Nketiah is coming under a little bit of stress. I don't understand that he's scoring goals. He scored the first goal against Nottingham Forest.
Exactly. 2 goals in 3 games.
Bad man. You can see the finish. Martinelli, okay, so this is my statement. Martinelli walks like he runs like he's praying. So his face is always down on the mat. Then second of all, I think, he is a Brazilian Overton in terms of he's got all the pace and he done a fake flick the other day. You think I didn't see it, I caught him in 4K. I think Martinelli, bro, we're just excited because he's got pace, man. Whatever,
bro,
man.
That is a very bad take, you know that.
Call it
that
bad.
Is a poor. Let us know in the comments what you think of
Martinelli. I think Martinelli, he does a bit.
Overton.
Well, Overton. Him and Overton, cousins.
Nah,
him and Overton. I don't care.
The you with the big head.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that guy.
I bet you any money Rio wasn't chilling all the time in the cafeteria. You just say, oui, and then keep it moving. Love, man.
Oh, he was French. Oh, yeah, he was French.
You think they might have said it's a Rio?
Yeah, he was a nice guy, man.
Yeah, you see man say you're a nice guy. You see, that's the massive part.
Hey,
you're a nice guy.
Can't call him a nice guy.
Nice guy. No,
at work.
Okay, hear what I'm saying.
So this is a good point.
Yeah.
Overton, he had talent.
He won the Premier League.
He had potential.
Yeah.
But maybe the mindset
his head weighed him down.
Yeah.
That's what it was. When you're carrying that mega mind, you got a lot on your plate, blood. So I don't blame him. Old Trafford's crazy. You don't know when the wind's hitting in Manchester.
It's in the change room. The lads used to Mikel Silvestri.
Oh, Mikel was ahead of the game. He was ahead of the game.
Mega Man was on the show. The pictures used to come in the group, bro. Mega used to get flung in there.
Hey, no, I'm joking. No, but you see with Martinelli, I can't lie.
You can't compare him to
he's got a
him,
ceiling.
though.
I think he's got a ceiling.
So what's that ceiling? Because you watch Arsenal.
I do, of course. I think he's very explosive.
No, not the highlights. I'm talking about
I
full
watch
games.
Arsenal, bro. Come on, I need to laugh. So like when I watch Arsenal, don't get me wrong, like Martinelli, Odegaard and Saka, they're the most explosive, creative players. I personally think Trossard's a better player. And I think Trossard, doesn't get given the opportunities for Arsenal to gel properly. I think when it comes to natural football players, I think Martinelli's a speedster. I think he's very fast, he can cut in and he can hit the ball. But when he's X'd out of the game, his creativity is non-existent. And I think when I see with Trossard,
but he's hardly X'd out of the game though.
He was X'd out against a Fulham, really, And I think against, like, bro, you see the season, it's just started, I am not a visionary, but when I see certain things, I think, against a tougher team, or when things get a bit difficult, Arsenal ain't playing the best at the moment right now. We need you to showcase yourself. Saka, I never see anything that makes me think, you're a bit rubbed, or someone can figure you out. I don't see it with Odegaard. Give him space, it's over. With Martinelli, my spirit don't go to him.
I think you're being a little bit harsh on him there. I do kind of agree with what you're talking about in terms of playing ability with him and Trossard. That doesn't bother me. I actually like the fact that we've got players that you can, they're different, but they're of high quality for me. I don't mind that, because then it means if one's dropping off a little bit, the other one can come in. I do think he's more than a speedster, and I do think when it comes against bigger teams, as he's shown against United, do you know what I mean, against Chelsea, against Liverpool, he shows up. He really does. You know, so I think...
Not a fan. We'll see it this season.
What's happened, by the way? Can we just go back? Your team shape is a bit mad, isn't it? Everyone's going about Mikel Arteta messing about with his formation, and Partey playing right back and accommodating Havertz maybe. Another one, Gabriel. Gabriel and Saliba had a partnership. And partnerships, I think you need partnerships in teams to win trophies. Now that's been broken up. How do you feel about it? I think. Can I tell you what I think? The reason why the team is shuffling all over the place, and I think the main reason is Zinchenko. When he's fit again, I think Partey goes into midfield, Ben White goes back to right back, and I think Declan Rice plays the 8 role and Havertz might drop out of the team.
Do you reckon they're looking for that creative outlook? Is that why currently they've got Partey there?
Yeah, I just think that they're just accommodating, because someone like Zinchenko, who will be able to roll into midfield the way Partey does from fullback. But Zinchenko does it better than anyone in that squad. So when he's fit, I think he comes back in, and I think you see Partey as the 8 again.
I think also Gabriel's the least better player on the ball out of all of those players. I think Ben White's good on the ball. I think Saliba, we know how great he is on the ball. Zinchenko's out of this world. So I think maybe he's looking at that. I think so. And sometimes when I've watched Arsenal last season, I feel like he looks the most likely to create mistake. And I think with Arteta, he knows that you've got to be next to perfection.
I said that last year.
He's the one player out of those, I think, I
said that last year, and he didn't like it.
Well, he didn't take well.
DM'd me,
Really?
Got in the DMs.
Was you unfair to him though, do you reckon, or was it just a fit?
I think this is a big thing for me with players today. They can't take criticism. I think players today, not all of them, but some players, I've had quite a few players who come through their agents, and I'll say to them, don't you get your agent to speak to me, you get your player to come and chat to me, and I'll chat to him.
So at least he did.
Yeah, he come direct to me, which I respect that, but at the same time, I don't think he saw what I was saying for what it is. Like, I'm a centre-back, and I'm seeing certain traits in your game that you need to eradicate, because your manager will see them and go, I don't want that in my team. And it's kind of playing out now, because he's not playing now. And for whatever reason, it might be the reason that I said that you can't have a lack of concentration at times or whatever, or is it because he's not as good on the ball as the others? I don't know what it is. Mikel Arteta's got to tell us that, but you're not in a team for whatever reason that you've not probably improved in certain aspects of your game, that the manager sees you as someone who's irreplaceable. So, but this or I get it if someone says something vindictive, but if they're talking about your game and going, there's certain things in your game, and you think, I understand when you don't agree with it, but boy, I'm looking at it and thinking, bruv, I didn't even say nothing that bad. I just said, like, you're making a couple of mistakes, which he did that week, and then a couple of weeks before he made the same mistake, and I highlighted those mistakes and said, you need to get them out of your game if you're going to become a real integral part of this team.
I think sometimes people look at it like a players' fraternity. Do you see what I mean? Like, you shouldn't talk about others. I don't think that's right, but I reckon that's how some people see it. Yeah, it's your job. I think they forget because they see you as Rio. Do you know what I mean? Couple Premier Leagues. You know what I mean? They think.
Yeah, man said, don't try to tap me. 6, brother. I was there for every single one of them. We lifted it together.
Yeah?
You know what I'm saying? We lifted it together, my boy.
So.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people should be able to take constructive feedback. Moving on, though.
Yeah.
Newcastle versus Liverpool. Oh my days.
Yeah, that was
Jason Tindall.
We want Jason Tindall on there. Jason, man, I seen him the other day. We need to come and talk, man. We need to sit and chat, because I think what he's up to, I think he's been allowed to be more vocal. He's the one who is the more animated out of the partnership between him and Eddie Howe. They have that relationship. It was the same at Bournemouth, but Bournemouth wasn't as big a club in the spotlight. No one noticed it. He done the same thing what he was
Jose
doing
had
then.
that with his number 2 as well.
Yeah, but the difference is with Pep, and we've seen Pep will be, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm talking about Pep and Jose. I'm going to land, right? They can have animated assistants, but there's one boss. Now, my issue is Jason's out here, and sometimes I think you need to calm down, bro, because you're like, sometimes, don't know about that. Sometimes he looks as if he's overstepping the mark, and he looks like he's the manager sometimes. I think, hang on a minute, mate. If your manager ain't jumping around doing all that kind of stuff, you need to follow suit.
Yeah, but the balance of that is, maybe Eddie Howe is so comfortable in his skin that he's sitting there going, I don't mind what my number 2 does. Actually, I like that because it might take the spotlight off me a little bit. Go on, you do your stuff, but the decision's being made by me anyway,
Also,
so who cares?
it might work in training. He might be the vocal one. Eddie Howe doesn't come across to me as someone who shouts a lot. I think he's more of the tactician. He understands how he wants the game to be played, and you have enforcers.
Yep.
And I think that's what it is. Also,
Jason,
it's passionate. It's Newcastle
It's
against
passion.
Liverpool,
You can
bro.
talk about passion,
And a man's,
but don't be out here doing that,
Yeah, but
and then getting
Klopp's
slapped
done
at the
a
end,
few
though.
But Klopp's
Don't
in a very...
be doing that, and then
Klopp-
you get slapped at
Klopp's
the end by
aggressive
10
on the
man.
touchline.
By 10 man, and you're doing that.
But Klopp said something in
You
a press
needed
conference
to-
about him.
What did he
Klopp
say?
said- for
Probably what I'm saying now.
No, Klopp said a couple of things about the assistant or whatever.
There you
Talked
go.
about- Talked about Jason Tindall. So I understand it. And if you're talking about competition and competitors,
That's what we want.
It's going to happen. You want people, these
That's
little
cool.
subplots going on.
That's cool, but it's not the
You gotta
first time
win,
you
though.
see him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
First of all, you
trust.
got to win.
That's the reality.
And secondly, my issue is he does it too frequently. You know, I think he needs to chill back a little bit because I think his antics sometimes take over the whole thing when it doesn't need to. His antic on yesterday, took over the whole issue again. He's the one being memed now.
No, he's one moment. He had one moment.
Yeah,
Like
but chill out.
And it was an incredible moment until
the goal.
things got real.
Man. Honestly, he needs to. I'm not a fan of that. But anyway,
Positive.
Newcastle looking like they were threatening first, but you need to wrap up the game, man, because
Finish it off.
you know Liverpool. It looked like it was just going to be a bad day for them.
Yeah, it did.
But Nunez finishing two good finishes.
I think when you sign for a club for the big money, you know, a big money transfer, especially when you're forward at Liverpool, it's a big position, loads of great names down the years. You need a moment where you go, I'm meant to be here now. This could be his moment where people go, do you remember that? That was a time. That was a time when he said he's here. And I think the way he came on, the 2 strikes were bad strikes.
Sensational
Great
finishes.
finish.
Yeah.
Especially that
Second
first
finish
one.
was my favourite.
Is it? I thought the
Because
first
I
one.
think the pass from Salah was just outrageous, and then
You guys going for the second one?
he took it into his stride.
The bottom corner one though, Harry.
That
Just
was
remember.
clinical, it was
Yeah.
nice. That was like...
That's the first one, isn't it?
You know
Rude.
who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Cavani.
Yes.
Obviously,
yes,
you're
yes.
rugged,
but he's a bit rugged. You know you're going to have a hard game with him. He's going to run you into the ground. And he's going to get chances because of the way he plays. It's just whether he's going to be clinical or not on the day. And Cavani ended up being a very clinical finisher. This kid, for me, I think that I questioned last season, thinking, wow, but you need that time to acclimatise to the league. He's been given that time. This season could be the breakout for him, I think.
I'm a big. I've said with Liverpool, I've never like questioned the talent in the team. I just felt like maybe legs are getting a bit heavier. We saw, you know, with Van Dijk's challenge as well. That's not usually something that we associate with him. He's a bit more composed and stuff. Still feel like it. In another day, it would have probably not been given if there wasn't VAR because it did look like it was
I don't think it's a red, you know.
I don't think it was a red either, but it definitely was a foul in it. But I think for me, Liverpool still have an incredible front five. I think their attacking prowess is incredible. You got that's my cousin. That's we got the likes of Jota, being able to take off Gakpo and then bring on Diaz. And there's so much talent there.
Man.
And you know, Trent, you know, defensively wasn't the best in that game as well, but it just shows with the way they play.
Gordon.
Gordon, he put him in a blender. He was really going for it.
Gordon's the quickest man in the league this year, and that's the first game I've watched him and said, yeah, he looks quick.
Bro, I said it on the Inside Scoop, when they won the 5-1 against Aston Villa, the way he played, like the first 10 minutes, Tonali scored and it was through Gordon's assist. I think with Newcastle, even though, yes, they lost that game and they should have won that game with 10 men, with an extra man, the way they play is so aggressive. From start
Pressing.
to finish, it's so beautiful to watch. And I think,
Botman all on
they've
Salah,
lost to City and yes, they lost to Liverpool, but it was their faults. I think they lost them games. I don't think it was.
I also think you see so much positive Like they've lost 2 games against 2 good teams, but you can see as a fan base, you don't sit there and panic because you go, what we're trying to do here, I can see it being really.
They
good.
should have won.
And that Tonali looks class, you know. He just looks better
silky.
than every other player. Like he
Is it mad if I say I get Pirlo vibes from him in terms of how classy he is?
More mobile.
Yeah, he's definitely more quicker, but he just looks good every time he passes the ball, innit? He's got class.
Like he's like he's running around Pirlo with a glass of red wine and playing football at breakneck speed.
Yeah.
But never ever
looks out of place.
He never drips a bit of red wine on the carpet. You know what I mean? What a player.
Before we move on, I just want to focus on the defensive mistakes. Now, we touched on it a little bit. Trent. I'm seeing it a lot, Rio. At what point
I think
do we address this?
No, I think it needs to be addressed.
And how do you address it? Because we know the qualities he's got.
I've been saying this for a while.
Well, what do we do?
I think the biggest, I've always said this about defenders. I think Harry Redknapp said this to me when I was really young. Because I was a player, a little bit like Trent. I wanted to think about on the ball and passing and moving, dribbling forward with the ball more. That was my priority when I was a young defender. All I thought about, forget defending. Defending was 2nd, 3rd, 4th on my checklist. But he always used to say to me, Rio, I don't mind you making mistakes, but if you make the same mistakes on a regular basis, you ain't learning and you ain't going to get better. And that's my only criticism, my real criticism and my concern and worry for Trent is that he's making mistakes defensively, especially in 1v1 situations that he's been making the last year or 2, even before that, where you need him to learn. You need him to go, right, Gordon, he knew from before the game, the night before, head hit the pillow, he knew Gordon was going to be going at him 1v1 and wanting to isolate him and play him 1v1. That's a challenge. That's like what, especially in our day, I was going up against Arsenal. I knew it was me against Thierry or Bergkamp. And Vida would be going up against him as well. And it's like, we're going to be 1v1 at some point in the game, most of the time. Same with Trent. I don't see that he's going into the game going, right, I'm going to lock Gordon down. Maybe it's the way that tactically the teams are set up and the game's played now that it's about, we have the ball so much and we try and take the ball off them, and that's the way we defend. So we're defending with the ball almost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I don't see that desire, that mentality, that passion and that thought process that goes, right, he is not taking the piss out of me today. That's what I want to see from Trent, and I don't know why that doesn't come around. And I watched him once live against Man City when Sane was there, and Sane was on smoke them times. And I watched Trent go into that game, and everyone's going, he's going to get roasted, and Trent locked him down. And if you can lock Sane down, you can lock anyone down. But the best players lock Sane down that week, then they go and lock Ayew down the next week, then they go and lock Vinicius Junior down, then they go and lock Gordon down. Then they do it consistently week after week. That's the problem with
I reckon it slaps us off concentration is what I see. Look, the ball went underneath his foot. Look, do you know what I mean?
I'm not even talking about that. That's the area I don't worry about him. I don't see him making mistakes with the ball. That one there is one of those ones that happens probably 2 or 3 times in his lifetime with the ball. I don't worry about that. I'm more concerned with Gordon getting the ball and running past him 1v1 and him not dictating to Gordon what happens in a 1v1. The best defenders say, Kyle Walker says to the forward, to the winger, you're going down the line and we're going to have a race. Or if you come inside, you ain't getting a shot off. Kyle Walker does that.
Reece James as well, to be fair.
Reece James, not as well as Kyle Walker, but better than Trent. So Trent has to work it mentally, I think, in his approach to games to go, this is me. You have to make it me against you. Because I think, especially with social media now, more than ever, it's personal. Because social media don't go sleep. You become a meme immediately, in-game, in the 90 minutes. Before you even get in the change room, look at your phone, you're a meme. So that there says to me that I wouldn't be allowing for that. I'm doing everything I can in my powers that not to happen.
That's
Do you think though, Liverpool's the way, like you said earlier about the way they're set up, I think with Trent, what I watched was that he was in midfield. He was part of the back 4 when it was defensive, but when they had the ball, it was further forward. And you know that mistake he did make, which I don't see Trent, like you said, losing the ball like that. Do you think though that?
I just think he just goes to sleep.
Yeah, I think that as well. But I think when he's playing, he forgets that he's a right back and he focuses on midfield because his strongest suit is his passing. And he's shooting and stuff. And I think we already know how great he is at that. But like you're saying, Ria, I think for him to become in that conversation as one of the best in the world, he has to get defensively better because this is what's going to expose him and make him look like a liability, even though he is a prized possession.
Best going forward.
Yeah, he's one of the best going forward, isn't it? And I don't think there's a better passer of the ball for Liverpool anyway. So
he can, and I agree with you. He could go and be the best, or fight to be the best with Reece and with Carl, etc., and Hakimi, etc., to be the best. Yeah, because he has everything to do that, right? But like I said, I've been that young defender or that defender who thought forward thinking before defensively. Now, when you're as good as he is with the ball, now he's probably one of the best we've ever seen with the ball, right? In terms of his passing range, especially. He hasn't got to think about with the ball. So his mind shouldn't be taken up with anything other than thinking me against you defensively. As long as if he goes into the game thinking like that, he gives himself a chance. If he goes into the game thinking about with the ball, that's natural for him, I think. I think it's just natural. He shouldn't even be thinking about his first 78% of his thought process before a game should be about me 1v1 against that wide player. That's it.
Jamie Carragher said they got to go for it this week. They've got to sign a defender and bring in another midfielder as well.
A defender? So they got Konate, they've got
VVD,
Matip, Gomez.
Got to get rid of one, then, isn't it?
Oh boy.
But who do you... I think it's unfair to get rid of Gomez, but you probably would get rid of Gomez.
Injuries have killed him.
Yeah, because Konate's been bought more recently.
He's their best one as
well.
Yeah,
I think after Van Dijk, it's him.
Yeah, Konate's the man. Do you reckon VVD's losing his powers a little bit? Like he got there a little bit later, a couple.
He's not as dominant. He hasn't looked as dominant as he did. He had a 2-year spell where you went, he's the outright best in the world.
The best in the world. Was burning you, innit?
But no. Because I know you've got to do that for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years.
Okay.
But he doesn't look as dominant. And now is that because the team aren't performing as well? Because that could have a domino effect on the individual performance.
Did you feel like that though when United wasn't winning leagues and you was in a team where it was like, oh, this ain't... Was you looking at the players in front of you and thinking, yeah, I'm in a bit of trouble here? Or it's not the same as it was when we was, let's say 08, 09, when we was like at the prompt, that best... Did you feel that? Did you see it drop a bit?
But again, I think I was still considered one of the best them times when we weren't winning the league. We were still fighting for winning the league, but I don't think my performances dropped off. Like I don't think it would surprise me if I only got in the Premier League Team of the Year the years that we won the league. I'm sure I got in that when we didn't win the league as well. So you've got to be able to perform. That's where I think when you see greatness as well. When the chips are down, who comes alive? That's why when I talk about Bruno at times. When the chips are down at Man United, who have they looked to in a lot since he's been at the club? They look to him. He produces most of the time. The best players, when your team ain't playing well, it's difficult to perform. But that's where you see character, that's where you see heart, that's where you see desire, that's where you see bravery. Bravery ain't necessarily about a tackle. Bravery taking the ball when you ain't going well, when confidence is a bit low in the team. When the confidence is low in the team, who does the team then look to get through that moment? Like, they're the best players, man.
I want to move it on very quickly because it's been a brilliant show today, but we've got to wrap through the results, yeah? Bournemouth losing to Spurs 2-0. Madison.
Spurs look different, by the way.
Basuma. Wow. Yeah,
those boys are back now, innit? Do you reckon it's because...
Andrew's cooking.
Yeah.
He's cooking.
Do you reckon they're playing better because Harry's gone? Because now they've got...
Because the manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Harry was there again, I think they're up a notch.
Okay.
But Harry scored 2 goals for Bayern the other day, bro. Yeah. That's his thing.
Do you reckon it was the right move for him, Harry?
I think he needed to go to any top team. Yeah. I just think he needed to go to a team where it's kind of guaranteed that they're going to be winning trophies. Because as a football fan, bias aside, he deserves a trophy, bro. For what he's done for Spurs, and we know Spurs are not the greatest team, but he's put them in that conversation for potential top 4 just off his goals alone. So going Bayern, I think it's better. But like what you're saying, I think what Andrew's cooking, like they're doing really well. I think against us, and Doggy was really good as well. They've got a good team there. And I again, as a football fan, I wish the best for Spurs because I like
Postecoglou's attitude. They asked him. What did they say? They said to him, they were talking to him about the inverted wingers and all that. He just responded, he goes, I'm just copying Pep, mate. I think that was a shot at Gary Neville, though.
Yeah.
So,
But it does show you, though, innit? That a coach who coaches the team can get better out of players. Do you know what I mean? Like, them players, there's not many different players there to what was there before. But he's come in and he's an absolute coach. From when his time in Australia to his time in Scotland, you see that his teams are well-drilled, hard-working teams who coach well.
Some question, just while we're on it. Who was the manager for in your career that you could say coached you the best in terms of like
That's a good question.
you learnt more from that coach?
Harry weren't a coach,
Yeah.
but he was more about getting the best out of you. For me personally, as an individual, he was good the way he talked to me and coached me. Fergie weren't a coach. He was a manager. Managed people. Got the best out of people, but he employed great coaches. Carlos Queiroz was a great coach. The best manager I had as a coach was Glenn Hoddle. Unbelievable, yeah, unreal. And if he'd stayed at England, I always say, if he stayed with, I'm sure we'd have got close to winning something. But he made me see the game so clear. If he was manager of England, I would have been running out with a ball, doing a madness for teams. Yeah, I'd have been playing like that because that's how he saw me, and that's how he was coaching me. He said, me, Scholesy, and Michael Ernie was going to build the team around.
Wow.
So for a young 19-year-old kid, to hear a 20-year-old kid to hear that, and he's telling Paul Ince, when Rio comes out, but you drop in Paul and you just sit there, and Paul Ince is looking at him and say, I'm Paul Ince. But
was it a bit awkward?
Paul Ince is the governor.
Yeah.
He's got a big ego.
Yeah.
I ain't sitting in for no fucking kid.
Yeah.
But they respected Glenn Hoddle and the way he coaches, a great coach. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing it open up in the game, and then Paul Ince is just slotting in because he's a great footballer. But he just made me see the game in a mad way, man. A little bit like when he spoke to Declan, he's saying Arteta's making him see the game differently. It's a great thing to have, the boost it gives you.
That's wicked, man. I got to quickly move it on to Sheffield United 1, Man City 2. Haaland's back at it again, even though he's not back at it again.
Penalty.
Yeah, Mr. Penalty.
But it's like he's there, but
makes
he's
me
not there.
Yeah.
You know.
Make him sub.
Yes. Alvarez will start.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. Again, I think with Man City, they're still loading, innit? Foden was on the bench, which is a bit. I think maybe I don't know if it was injuries or whatever.
I told you. He treats him like a youth player that's coming in.
Pep was
I'm very sure that Pep picked the team because he was on Man City's.
and got an assist straight away. Like, I think, look, you know what, with Pep, and Man City's team, I just think they finesse us so much because we always think that there's an issue or it could be wrong, and then they just go and smash the team 6-0. Yeah. Haaland didn't have the best game and ended up scoring.
Still scored.
It's scary. But Sheffield United was bopping. I'll give it to them. They did try. And I think if you lose 2-1 to Man City and you're Sheffield United, just been promoted.
I think the 3 teams that come up could go down there after seeing 3 games.
No,
I don't know, man. I reckon Everton are. They're not looking good to me, Everton.
They're not. But I think Luton, Sheffield United, and Burnley.
I think Burnley are going to turn it around now. Man.
Squeaky bum time for Burnley.
I reckon Company. He's got something in him, man.
Yeah, but
he's
they need to find something because what I've seen so far, there's some nice stuff as well. But the Premier League's a brutal place, man.
Yeah.
You get punched up.
Serious.
Final game. You were talking about Luton. Raheem Sterling is back.
Bad boy.
2 goals,
Northwest
1
finest.
assist.
Yes, Raheem.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
Northwest finest, blood.
You know?
Because
He's playing well, man.
Yeah, you know what I liked? I saw in the first game I watched him. The spark seems back. There was something you could see he's been working off season. We talk about Antony work. You want to see something. What with Raheem, he looked like. I know that there must have been something going on off season physically for him because he's come back. He looks sharp, aggressive, and when a player gets a goal, man, the confidence levels, and it's a good result. Even as against Luton, don't get me wrong. Jackson impresses me as well.
He's good.
He's giving me Lewis Zaha vibes.
Added me to my team. I said I watched him the first 2 games, and I said, you haven't clocked the Premier League yet. When you do, it's scary.
It's a problem.
Because against Luton, he was the best player alongside Raheem Sterling in terms of the attacking threat. I think he's 1-2s with Chilwell. Chilwell had an opportunity where he could have scored. I just think he's the quickest understander of the game that Poch wants to play for the attacking part. He's very quick, keep the ball moving, run into space. Enzo had so many chances where he could find him. I think they're slowly figuring it out as well. And I think the second game that they had, it was a bit of a shock against West Ham, but they got it right against a lesser team, but they looked like they deserved to win that game. And Raz was just outrageous. The first goal was great, but then also being in the right places, giving the ball to I can't remember who put the ball in. I think it must have been Gusto. And expecting
he's all right as well.
Yeah, Gusto done really well. Yeah, he got 2 assists, but to expect that ball, watching Raheem chase his run, for me was like, we didn't see that last season. To see it again, I think, credit to him. Really,
Just before we go, did anyone see Messi's goal?
Nasty.
What, the pass?
No, all right, can I say something? So before you explain it, I know that player wasn't expecting that pass to go so direct to him, and Messi's just. Do you know what he's exposing? how great of a football player he is against lesser players. You're seeing it. Because I think sometimes when we see him play against the greatest teams, it's just everyone's on that same level. But when you see the difference, he's outrageous, bro.
No, like a lot of our great players went there, didn't perform like that.
Not like that.
He's letting off bombs week in, week out. But do you know what was the great thing about that pass? He brings it in, stands up the defender. That, like you say, the winger thought the ball. He was asking for the ball. He thought the ball would be chipped over probably the back of the defender. When he passed that ball, how great that pass was. The pass said, "Run."
You see him?
Now.
He went.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he goes, and then obviously, but it's Messi's movement after that, the way he plays it, knowing that I've got a dust, and then the defender goes to sleep. But what a wicked goal, man!
Oh,
Messi,
man. Honestly, man.
Greatest ever?
He's in the conversation.
Because you would say Maradona, innit?
Nah, he's got.
Maradonna's my G.
You're personal, but he's got loyalties to Ronaldo, mate. Do you know what I mean? So that's
they're different players. It's like tennis.
Rafael,
Djokovic, Nadal, Federer. I don't care. I love them all. Why compare? They're just all great. We've been blessed to be in a great era. Ronaldo and Messi, they're very different footballers. I say, Messi's talent is phenomenal. What he does more in terms of assists and creating chances as well as goals. But Ronaldo's just like a devastating finisher.
probably the best of all time.
Who?
Ronaldo.
What finisher?
Finishing, yeah.
Probably.
If I had a cup final, I'd probably pick Cristiano. One-off game.
I don't know, man.
If I got Stoke,
I hear what you're saying.
If I got Stoke, I'm picking Messi. He's breaking those players. Somehow they're going to be like, well, let's just.
Let's have a show.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been Vibe with 5 from Portugal.
The Portugal edition.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Honestly.
Hairline's it's come back.
Rio waited.
Anytime I go away, it comes forward.
It comes back.
Yeah.
Sick.
I need to do this a lot.
Rio waited for a big Man United win to take us out here. He said, you guys just come, let's go celebrate. You know what I mean?
Sometimes just need the skin feel a little bit. That's all we need sometimes. Let you wear your shades. You want a weekend for you to wear shades?
Nah, well, you know.
I just remember
it's been a long weekend.
back on again.
Listen, we've got a new show coming out. I said it at the start of the show. Subscribe, notifications on, Beyond the 90 with this man right here.
Great show, guys.
Right here.
I'm not even saying it because I'm in it. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Who's on it? First episode?
Oh, Paul Scholes.
Oh, come on now. It's coming out, guys. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We will be back during the course of the week. Interviews with Zinchenko. We've got our combined 11 for the Arsenal versus United game. We got Ornstein. We got Steve and Ash. We're just rolling on the shows, man. Joel Beya, Rio Ferdinand, Harry, HP like the sauce.
Thanks for having me.
Pinero.
Thanks for having me.
Signing out. Portugal. Peace. Right, Rio, it's that time of the week and we have our live score 6 predictions to do this weekend. And last week, as you know, we got 0 scores and 2 results right. So we've accumulated 50 quid for our chosen charity so far. So we've got some work to do because we were poor. All right, let's go for it. All right, so here are the 6 games this week.
Yes.
Rio, Harry, Burnley versus Spurs. What are we saying?
I'm going Spurs 2-1.
I was going to say that as well, you know.
You just said that.
No. Do you know why? I think Burnley are going to score because Tottenham are a bit leaky in their defence here. But I just think they've got enough firepower. So 2-1. Yeah, I would say 3, but we got to agree with something. So I'd say 2-1.
I would have originally said 2-0, but it's 2-1. So we're going to settle with 2-1.
2-1.
2-1 Spurs, right? That's fair. Chelsea versus Forest.
I'm going to go 3-0 Chelsea.
I would say 3-1. I think, they've still got a goal in them, Nottingham Forest.
Well, after that performance that Chelsea just gave?
They've scored every single game.
They've scored against the 2 big teams as well, Arsenal, Man United away. They scored both. I'm going to go 3-1 as well.
Yeah, 3-1.
What are you going?
It's Chelsea, of course.
Let's go 3-1.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Man City versus Fulham. This has got to be a draw.
I know
guys.
it's ended in a 0.
2-2.
I know it's ended in a 0.
Definitely 2-2, right?
3-0.
2-2. You saw what Fulham did at Arsenal, man.
Yeah, minor.
That's a minor club.
Yeah, different.
So yeah, I'd say 3-0 as well.
3-0.
Yeah.
Not a cheeky 2-2.
3-0.
Nah?
What does it do for you if this 2-2?
I'm just trying to
Okay.
salvage.
Say no more.
Let's go for 3-0. Brighton versus Newcastle. Ooh, I say this has got to be a 2-2 draw.
I'll go 2-2 as well.
Yeah. I think they're both level in terms of where they're at this season so far. A few losses, played well, but they haven't kicked on. So yeah, 2-2.
2-2.
Fair enough. Liverpool versus Aston Villa.
Ooh, another big game.
3-all I'm going.
Wow.
Loads of goals.
Goals in that still, I can't lie.
What,
I reckon goals.
Nunez, Hattie?
Yeah, I reckon Nunez comes in.
No, I'm just...
DRB definitely scores.
Yeah, for sure. And Watkins. Watkins have an assist or score.
Cool.
So go 3-all?
3-0.
All right.
Arsenal versus Manchester United.
Go on, you start. Go on.
4-1 Arsenal.
Say seriously what you think.
Like
This
jokes,
is no. This is.
No, there's no
I
joking now.
genuinely believe that.
This is serious stuff. We're trying to go from a 0 to something this week. We need
4-1. 4-1.
You're going to be the reason why it ends terribly well.
Yeah.
This prediction.
You reckon I went to?
Yeah, I think we went 2.
I'm going 2-2.
Oh.
Sorry. That's a sign.
Yeah, that's a sign. Oh, what does that say? 2-1. No, 2-1. But I think the closest thing to that, to actually, reach an agreement, will be 2-2. So we'll go with a draw.
I'll say 2-2 just because you haven't given us an L, so 2-2. Guys, make sure you enter by 3 p.m. on Saturday, the 2nd of September, for a chance to win. 18 plus, UK and Ireland only. Full T's and C's apply.